Finally, I've always been a fan of Mayor Giuliani. In fact, I've considered him a friend. But I was terribly disappointed to hear him question the president's love for our country, joining a long list of Obama critics who I think have crossed the line. I also objected when George W. Bush was the subject of undeserved hyperbolic criticism, but the baseless scorn heaped upon President Obama, it makes Bush's detractors look diplomatic. The president, the office, and our nation deserve better. It's been unrelenting. The day after Obama took office, Rush Limbaugh told Sean Hannity he wanted him to fail. Later, Glenn Beck called the president a racist with a deep-seated hatred of white people. Donald Trump's birtherism took hold while words like socialist were uttered with increased frequency. Just before Hurricane Sandy hit, Ann Coulter called our sitting president a retard. Sarah Palin mocked his shuck and jive shtick. And John Sununu openly questioned General Colin Powell's weighty endorsement as being motivated by race. There's been a prairie fire of falsehoods spread throughout the internet suggesting, among other things, that Obama is a Muslim, or that he refused to recite the Pledge of Allegiance, paving the way for Dinesh D'Souza's fictionalized documentary, 2016, which characterized Obama as fulfilling the anti-colonial agenda of his father, a man he literally knew for just one weekend. Among the usual memes used to undermine the president is the threat of some apocalyptic cataclysm, usually in the form of an assertion of federal power, like the seizing of guns. These predictions demand unthinking acceptance of the notion that the president, like some bizarre Manchurian candidate, is executing a nefarious agenda. Before I made the move to Sirius XM radio, I routinely fielded calls from AM listeners who, with no hint of embarrassment in their voices, said things like, "I call him comrade," or "he's not my president." Their best evidence? Obamacare, crafted by the same people who wrote Romneycare. Critics, of course, ignore that the Affordable Care Act is premised upon personal responsibility and was born in a right-wing think tank. And while some have labeled the president a socialist for the signing of the $831 billion stimulus, nobody ever used that language when Bush acted similarly with the $700 billion TARP. And then, of course, there was Benghazi. Why all the attention to that tragedy which happened on a September 11th? Maybe to deflect attention from Obama avenging the first 9/11. The president's critics have sought to diminish that achievement by treating his order as a no-brainer. And yet when candidate Obama told me and others in 2008 that he would not hesitate to strike bin Laden if he found him in Pakistan, he was derided by his adversaries, including Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. And while you can be critical, as I have been, about the president's reluctance to label ISIS as Islamic terrorists, you have to admit he hasn't hesitated to kill its members. Let me be clear, there are plenty of reasons to criticize the job that he has done, but this has become all too personal. There's much to be admired in the president and his rise to power. Replace Kenya with Poland or Germany, and you'd have observers rightfully saying that only in America could such a career path be possible. When I disagree with the president, I do so conceding that he's an intellectual heavyweight whose personal ethics have been above reproach. This first family has brought no disrepute to the White House. And real patriots voice opinions based on substance, not smears. Thank you so much for joining me. Please don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter if you can spell Smirkanish. See you next week.